Community, more connectivity, compatibility, promoting media literacy. Community talking, community acting, communication, the way to go. Community talking, communication, the way to go. Come week, communication, communication, for synodality, for ability. Community, for connectivity, compatibility, promoting media literacy. The way to go. Come, the way to go. Come week, for creativity, reciprocity.
I am Father Constantine H. Chechi Okoli, the Deputy Director of Fides Media, the Social Communication Department of the Catholic Diocese of Awka. Today is the day 6 of the celebration of World Communications Week. The theme for this year's World Communications Day is Share with Gentleness, the hope that is in your hearts. On this 6th day of World Communications Week, we shall be discussing the topic, Gentleness in Conflict Resolution, a Media Perspective. In a summary form, I will do 3 things. First, to show that the media is powerful and that it has its own perspective, the lens and prism of its own narration and interpretations. Secondly, to make it known to the netizens, the citizens of the media, that they also desire gentleness in the approach of the events in the media. And thirdly, I will outline some guidelines to be used in conflict resolution in the media space. In the year 1962, Pope John the 23rd convened a significant ecumenical council in the Catholic Church known as the Second Vatican Council from 1st of October 1962 to 8th December 1965. One of the documents from that council was Inter Malefica, the decree on the media of social communications. The first statement of that document summarizes the enormous influence of the media. In her words, it says, the media has a direct relation to men's minds. It has uncovered new avenues of communications, mostly readily news, views and teachings of every sort. And of its very nature, it says also that the media reaches and influences not only individuals, but the very masses and the whole of human society. In effect, it says that the press, motion pictures, radio, television, and internet have great influence on the society and on human history. That is to say that the effect of the media on the society is just that we live in a world where the real is always photographed. We are in the picture age. We are in a society that breeds spectacles. And in fact, we call it today a society of spectacle, which is a society that adores representations and images in their different shapes and shades. It is a society that simply perceives reality through a medium that is cut off intentionally and also as a way of life from reality. It is also a society that is afraid of remembering and piecing up together facts. Here I would like to recall the words of Susan Sontag in her book, Regarding the Pain of Others. She said, and I quote, "As much as photographs create sympathy, they shrivel sympathy." Let's explain this in this way. If you pick up your phone, simply go to your Google and type "the struggling girl." The struggling girl is a picture credited to Kevin Carter. Kevin Carter is known to be the South African war photographer who engaged and had so many beautiful pictures of most gruesome wars. Of particular mention of interest here in the struggling gear is a picture taken at Ayo during the Sudan War of a starving Sudanese girl or a child with a vulture in the background waiting on this girl as his meal. On 26 March 1993, the struggling girl appeared for the first time in the New York Times. Fortunately, with succession of events and the appreciation of this picture, for its capacity to, I guess, create sympathy by our society of spectacle, the struggling girl won the Pulitzer Prize for Carter. Worthy of mention here is that initially people thought that the human being involved was a girl, without knowing that it was actually a boy, Kong Young. He was thought to be a girl simply because of his weakness, protruded stomach, stacked ribs, wobbling legs, and bulging back. After the picture has performed its function of shriveling sympathy, people came to the stage with existentialism that meets humanism. People began to ask questions like, why didn't he help that girl? We know, granted, that Carter had the opportunity, not minding that his employer, UN Operation Lifeline Sudan, has strictly cautioned such care. Netizens kept asking, how could he just leave her there to be devoured by the vulture? They asked, what became of her? It was at this time that it became obvious that words have weight and that pictures shock. The caring Kevin Carter could not bear these words and the effects, and he paid with his price. On July 27, 1994, 4 months after winning the award at the age of 33, Carter took his life through carbon monoxide poisoning. Worth noting is that the caring Carter was reporting those beautiful pictures in order to attract aid to the war-razed Sudan. That is to ensure what we call today the CNN effect. The fat of on-the-spot news reportage influencing social and individual policies. Nevertheless, the question from the same media calls us to see beyond the struggling girl and not allow her humanity to elude us swiftly and outrageously, as it did happen to Carter. The media summarized the life of Carter in these words: he was a humanist, but was not humane. He lacked a feeling with attitude. But Carter was solving conflicts from his little corner and with his profession. Have you also observed today that because of the democratization of the media, many use the media to resolve conflicts? Just from their corner, they make clips of the marginalization they have suffered and the mess they have been through in the hands of their persecutors. Just in a little while, people will come to their rescue. That is their intention. Today we hear about internet activism on the rise. You know of DVM, Very Dark Man, Martins Vincent. You hear of Aisha Yusuf. You hear also of P2B and many others who are internet activists. Just so that you know, all internet users are activists. They are either promoting or defending a particular cause. They are always resolving or even creating conflict. Fides Media has also had her own share of this conflict resolution. As internet activists, activism comes always with a little dose of violence, a mixture of violence and wildness, shocking and yet impressive. On several counts, Fidel's media has been dragged in a number of her posts and clips while she set out to resolve conflicts. But the question in all of this is, how do we do this conflict resolution with gentleness? In our many comments, likes, shares, and skits, oftentimes we do not realize that there is a human being who consumes these clicks and clips. There is a document by the Dicastery for Communication titled Towards Full Presence, a pastoral reflection on the engagement with social media. There is a statement there that says, social media platforms can run the risk of preventing their users from really meeting the other who is different. There are these concepts called tinification and rapidification. Many internet users today run the risk of seeing the person at the other end as an object to be used, monetized, and abandoned. This monetization mentality is such that what drives one to a cause is the money that accrues from the posts and the shares, all in the name of generating traffic and making money. Also, many internet users are always on the speed to get to what is happening, what is trending, what is live, and they actually want to go live at the slightest provocation. Here, all manner of things are shared and are considered shareable. Where is the gentleness? I remember an article written by John Henry Newman titled Definition of a Gentleman. Therein, John Henry Newman says that a gentleman is a person who excels in social grace, kindness, and consideration for others. A gentleman is not defined by wealth, status, or birth, but by his ability to make others feel comfortable and at ease. What are the guidelines that will help us in resolving conflicts, especially with gentleness and on the media? Gentleness in the media is not about avoiding difficult topics, but about addressing them in a way or ways that build bridges rather than walls. This will involve, the much I can say, 4 things. 1. Promoting constructive dialogue. Media outlets and platforms should create opportunities for diverse voices to engage in meaningful discussions. Moderated forums, balanced reporting, and thoughtful editorial policies can set the tone for respectful exchanges. Another, fact-checking and accountability. The spread of misinformation fuels conflicts. Media organizations and all users of media have a responsibility to ensure accuracy in their reporting and to correct errors promptly. Thirdly, human angle stories. Stories that emphasize shared humanity and common goals can help to reduce tensions. By focusing on the human impacts of conflicts, media can inspire compassion and understanding. And fourthly, training in ethical communication. Journalists and content creators should receive training in conflict-sensitive reporting and ethical use of digital tools. This equips them to handle sensitive issues with care and responsibility. Let's end this our reflection today by emphasizing that practicing gentleness in our digital interactions means pausing before responding to provocative posts, seeking to understand opposing viewpoints, and using our platforms to share messages of hope and reconciliation. Our words, whether spoken or written or photographs, have the power to heal or harm. By choosing gentleness, we can contribute to a culture of peace, even in the most polarized environments. As Pope Leo XIV would put it, choose consciously, cautiously, and courageously the path of communication in favor of peace. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you for listening.
Community talking, community acting, communication, the way to go. Community talking, community acting, communication, the way to go. Oh, come we communication, 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 modality.